Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Hope that you are all doing well and staying safe. Here is Mariam Shref, a senior petroleum engineering student at the Lebanese American University, and I'll be moderating today's session. Welcome to the second lecture of our online course, Develop and Enhance Personal and Organizational Leadership Skills, presented by a special guest speaker, Mr. Mohamed Elshoura. Mr. Elshoura is a believer in change with an open mindset for new experiences, practices, and challenges. A passionate, diversified learning and talent management professional with over 15 years of dedicated experience in training delivery, workshop facilitation, program design, curriculum development, executive coaching, and human development within a variety of corporates, cultures, and industries. Moreover, he has been working closely with line managers to achieve goals and objectives with HR teams to establish systems and learning solutions to manage local and regional projects. Mr. Elshoura holds a master's degree in organizational psychology from Liverpool John Moores University and a Bachelor of Political Science from the American University in Cairo. Finally, Mr. Elshoura is a professional certified coach from the International Coaching Federation with dual specialization executive life coach, a certified manager from the Institute of Certified Professional Managers at James Madison University. And he facilitated and designed more than 200 training workshops. So welcome, Mr. Elshoura, and we are pleasure to have you today with us. As a
Thank
reminder,
you.
if you have any question related to the presentation, please feel free to drop it down in the Q&A section. And please note that we'll be having some questions during the lecture, so they are either multiple choice questions, and some like questions 10 and 11, they should be answered through the chat box. Without any further ado, Mr. Elshoura, the mic is yours.
Thank you, Mariam. Thank you very much for this introduction. Hello, everybody. It's me, Mohamed Elshoura. I think Mariam mentioned an introduction about me. So some of you have already attended the previous lecture, hopefully. Some of you, maybe this is their first lecture. But anyways, we are talking about leadership. And again, this is one of my very best, most favorite topics that never gets old. As I mentioned last time, it's about us. It's about me and you. It's about leading organizations, leading our lives. So it never gets old. So I'm sure that there will be people delivering lectures and trainings about leadership 20, 40, 50 years in the future, as well as there was in the past as well. To summarize what we have talked about last lecture, we were talking about the most important synonym for leadership. And we mentioned that empowerment is a synonym, is the most suitable synonym for the word leadership. Leadership is about empowerment. Leadership is about delegation. We talked about delegation, how delegation is important, how creating a learning environment within an organization is also very important. So empowerment, a leader as empowerer or a leader who empowers is someone who delegates tasks, authority, different levels of tasks, okay, and decision making as well. So in this case, the leader will be creating a learning environment. How we know the leader, how we know the person who has a leadership trait, a leadership skill from someone who doesn't have? When this someone goes to a group of people or an organization, stays for 3-4 years, and then this person leaves, this place is never as before. So a leader is someone who is able to impact, who is able to implement change, who is able to empower people surrounding him or her. So we talked about empowerment and the different schools of leadership, the traditional school of leadership, and as well as the empowering school of leadership. We talked about delegation in details and how we can delegate. So today we'll be starting talking about staff motivation. A clever leader, an impactful leader is someone who knows how to motivate the surrounding employees, how to motivate his subordinates, how to motivate his colleagues. And again, as we mentioned in the previous lecture, a leader is not tied to a particular managerial level. So you may find leaders at the top of the pyramid of any organization, and you definitely may find leaders at the bottom of the pyramid of an organization. So it's not necessarily that you be a manager or a CEO. It's not necessarily that you have a big title to be a leader. And we mentioned that some people are not convincing enough, do not have enough of leadership skills and traits, so they depend on authority. They depend on titles for implementing tasks. But leaders don't need authority, don't need power, because they believe that they have enough skills, enough abilities, enough traits that enable them to convince others, to direct others, to empower others. So they don't need to enforce anything because they already have the skill to convince. Okay? So one of the important areas we'll be talking about today is, yes, as I said, motivation. How can a leader motivate a group of people? Well, before going into details, there is an important question here that I would like that you all answer, please. And Mariam will help me with this question 6. So as employees or students, what best motivates you? What best motivates you? A, money. B, work-life balance. By work-life balance, we mean you have time to travel, have time to spend with the family, so it's not a very stressful work environment. C, psychological, verbal motivation, like words of praise. D, the value, the kind of work, so you are doing something of value, so this motivates you. And finally, humane working environment and working hours. You work in a place that you feel that you're not working like a machine, a place where humanity is appreciated. We are all humans, where the human aspect is given priority. Okay, so as employees or students, what best motivates you? Okay, so number 1 is humane working environment, working hours. Okay, and number 2 is the value kind of work, and number 3, work-life balance. Great, thank you for your answers. You know what? This always proves the theory that money is not everything. Surprisingly, and to be honest, we all work for money. We all have bills to pay. We all have responsibilities. So money is very important, no doubt. But surprisingly, whenever we ask this question within any group, within different kinds of industries, organizations, universities, we rarely get money as one of the top motives. Can you imagine? This is actually a very important indicator, a very, very important indicator. It's not indicator that we don't need money, okay? We just need psychological motivation. No, this is not the indicator, but it's a very important indicator that money is not the most important motive. okay, that people are not mostly motivated by money. This means that you can be working in an organization where you're earning a lot of money, but the work conditions are not really humane, stressful. You cannot do work-life balance. There is no verbal motivation. There is no value for work. Okay, so you can leave this job. You can leave this job even if you're earning a lot of money, because the overall human condition, the overall condition is very stressful, psychologically stressful. And this actually, yeah, I just want you to know here that this is not the only group who did not choose money as one of the priorities, one of the top priorities that motivate employees or students. Actually, I have witnessed this like 90% of the cases. People never choose money from the top three priorities. Rarely do groups choose money as like number three priority. It never goes to number one priority. So money was never in my all the workshops I have facilitated. People have never chosen money as number one top priority. So what does this mean again? You all valued, most of you valued a humane working environment, the value of work and work-life balance. Okay, you know what creates this? What creates this at workplace? Exactly. Yes. Good leadership. Good leadership create a humane working environment. When you have good leadership, you will be provided enough time to spend with your family. When you have good leadership, the work environment will never be very stressful to the extent that you are always stressed and you cannot find time for yourself, for your families. When there is good leadership, you will also know the value of work. By the way, the value of the task, the value of your job, the value of the work you do does not come from the job description that you read when you start a certain job. Okay, it starts here. It starts from leadership. Okay, you can be working in a very sophisticated job, but still you don't believe. You don't believe that you are really adding that much. You don't believe that you are doing something valuable. And you can be working something that is very simple, okay? But you believe in it. And you believe that this is a small part of the very big picture, okay? So this is very important. And also the role of the leader here to encourage people and to always remind people of the value of work they do, whatever it is simple, okay? So believing in what you're doing, believing that what you're doing is of great value, okay, is the responsibility of the leader. Having a humane working environment, a work environment that values humanity, a work environment that believes that the component of this place are human beings. They have needs, okay? They have needs in their lives. They have goals. They have personal achievements. They have responsibilities. They have families. They have life that they have to enjoy. So work is not everything. And also, yes, the value of work, the work-life balance, and a humane working environment. These three that you chose as the top three priorities that motivate employees, they are one of the main, among the main responsibilities of a leader. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. Okay. To know how to motivate people, to know how to motivate others, we have to understand what motivate a particular person, okay? Each Single person of us, me, you, and every human being, consists of these four main components. So, first, as a leader, I have to understand the components of this person to know how to motivate these components. Okay? One of the main components of a human being is the mind. Okay, so what does the mind need? What does the mind need from a job? The mind needs to be fed with information, fed with learning, valuable learning. Okay, so this is part of motivation, to motivate the mind by creating a learning environment. As long as you are learning from your job, as long as you are learning throughout your career, then as long as you are doing something new, getting exposure, knowing more people, doing networking, as long as you're doing this, you are feeding your mind with a learning experience, learning new things, adding to yourself. You sometimes hear people want to leave a certain job and go to another job just because, I feel that I'm kind of stuck. I feel that I'm not learning anything new anymore. At this moment, the mind is sending signals that I'm not motivated anymore because there is nothing new I am learning. So I'm going to rest. Take care. Okay. If you're not going to a new challenge, if you're not going to learn, okay, that I'll be demotivated. So please motivate me by learning more, by accepting new challenges. So this part, the first part is the mind. The second part is the body. What motivates the body? What motivates the body at a job or at the university is that I'm not exploited. Okay, I'm not working in a very tiring, consuming conditions. I do not work for 14, 16 hours, so I get back home very exhausted, doing nothing but just to drop, to fall asleep, just to wake up early and go to work. In this case, your body will be exhausted and it will also be sending you messages. I am not motivated. I am exhausted. This is not a concentration camp, it's a job. So your body will be demotivated if your body is tired from your job, from the job you're doing. You have to, if your job is not providing you a space to get rest, then your body will fall, will collapse, will be demotivated. The heart. The heart part is about relationships. You know, we also hear some people at a particular organization saying that, oh, okay, I'm earning good money and the kind of work is really nice, but the culture is really horrible. We never communicate, people never communicate together. There is no teamwork, there is no team spirit, people conspire against each other. So it's a horrible culture. So in this case, your heart will be demotivated. You will just wake up in the morning, don't want to go to work because you're going to an environment that is very highly discouraging. So having a good link, having a humane working environment, connecting with other people, connecting with colleagues, connecting with people from your same team, from people from other departments, motivates the heart that I'm going to a valuable experience. I am gaining new people, I'm knowing new information, I'm getting better exposure. So the heart is motivated with quality relationships. So whenever you have good quality, stable relationships, even on your personal level, or the professional level, you will feel your heart motivated. But if you're going to a place where people hate each other, you will never want to go. Okay. And finally, the spirit. The spirit is related to the value. If I'm going every day, the value of work, if I'm going every day to do a job that I don't really believe it does anything to people and people can live without it anyways, so I will be always demotivated. I'll be always demotivated. But believe me, it lies in here. It's a mindset. I remember I read once in a book that President Kennedy was visiting NASA in the 60s. And the first man he met at the door, he was the porter. And after shaking hands with the porter, he asked him a question. What do you do here? What's your job? And the man answered, I put people on the moon. See, some people may say, oh, come on, you're just a simple porter. How come you're putting people on the moon? Yes, he is putting people on the moon. And if he is not doing this job that you see simple, people may not get to the moon. Okay. So you have to see the big picture. You have to discover the value in what you're doing. Okay. If I'm dealing with customers, and I have to believe that if I did not do my job well, people will be negatively affected in their lives. The customer I meet today for just a simple query, okay, this simple query might have meant a lot to this customer. It might have been a life-changing information. It might have been a very important information that he will build important decisions in his or her life upon. So you have to believe in the importance of what you're doing. Whatever you think, either if you think it's something simple, okay, I believe that the successful person in a job that you might see simple is much, much, much better than a person who is doing a very sophisticated, complicated job, but is not good at it. So it's better that you be good at something simple, limited, than you just be lost, then you just fail to be successful in a very sophisticated and complicated job. So it's not about the size of the job and the number of tasks that you're doing every day. It's about your belief that you are doing something of importance. You have to believe in this. Okay, so all these four parts of a person paradigm have to be nurtured, have to be fed. A visionary leader will try to make balance between these four. And to be honest, because I just also don't want to sound, I don't want to sound like talking about utopia or talking about a perfect place. Most probably in many companies, in many jobs, you can hardly find these four aspects are being well nurtured. There should be a shortage in one or two. But at the end of the day, it's about your priorities. Okay. For example, I am someone who can tolerate stressful work conditions. I can tolerate working for extra hours, but I can never ever tolerate that I do not mingle with my friends at work. I do not have good relationships with my friends at work. I cannot tolerate this, but I can tolerate somehow stressful conditions. So it's about priorities. You set your priorities, because as I just mentioned, you will hardly find in an organization that these four conditions are fully nurtured. There will definitely be a shortage in one or two. At the end of the day, you are the judge and you are the one who take the decision, what I can tolerate and what I cannot. But again, we are saying this because you are leaders. All of you are leaders. So in case you want to motivate any of your friends, you want to motivate any of your colleagues, subordinates, you have to take in mind these four important aspects. Okay? Okay. So next, we will be talking today, as I mentioned last time, about a very, very powerful tool of leadership, which is coaching. I mentioned last time that leadership is about empowerment. And to be honest, coaching is one of the very powerful empowerment tools, one of the most important empowerment skill as well. It's a tool and a skill. Remember last time what we mentioned about a skill? If there is anything that comes under the word skill, this means that you can learn it. Okay? It's not necessarily that you are either born with it or not. No, it does not go this way. Whatever that is a skill, this means that you can learn it. You can learn it very well and you can excel in it and you can even teach it to others as well. Okay, so coaching is a skill and it's a tool at the same time that leaders use to empower others. Leaders use coaching to empower others. Okay? And we will see how this tool is being used and the different meanings and the definitions of coaching. Okay, so to define coaching and to know the real meaning, the true meaning of coaching, we have to differentiate between these four concepts: teaching or training, consulting, mentoring, and coaching. First of all, I just don't want you to I don't want to sound like I'm telling you that coaching is the best and mentoring, consulting, and teaching is a very demotivating or it's not empowering. No, they are all effective tools. They are all tools that can be used, that can be used and deployed whenever needed. But I'll be focusing more about coaching due to its importance in empowerment. And also, there is also one very important point. There are a lot of misconceptions about coaching. Coaching, in many cases, is misunderstood and it's being mixed up together with mentoring, teaching, and consulting. For example, when we take teaching and training here, the first one, teaching and training, you have to be a professional expert to pass a certain knowledge. You have a certain knowledge and you need to pass it to a group of people. So you have to be an expert in this subject and you have to know the tools. How can this content be taught to people? It's not necessarily, not just about content. It's about how I can teach. So teachers and trainers, they have to learn how can I transform information to others. So I should be a subject matter expert in a certain subject, and they also need to learn presentation skills, facilitation skills to be able to transfer this knowledge to a group of people. The second concept is consulting. It's somehow similar. For example, I have a small startup company, and I go to a financial consultant to help me with his or her experience. How am I going to financially manage my startup? So this consultant must be also a subject matter expert in finance because I need consultancy in finance. So I will definitely go to an expert in finance. If I go to a person who does not know anything in finance, he will not give me the right consultancy. So the second concept is consulting. The third is mentoring. Mentoring can be also a subject matter expert or can be someone who you trust, can be a friend, your best friend, someone older than you, someone you think he or she are wise, they have enough experience in life that enable them to provide you with certain advice. A mentor is someone that you go to and ask for advice in life, at work. So you go to the mentor and you explain your challenges that you're facing in life, and most probably you trust this mentor, and most probably this mentor has experience in life. So this mentor will tell you, okay, from my experience, I have passed through similar situations. So my advice for you is to do 1, 2, 3. This is a mentor. However, there is still a problem. Okay, if you having challenges with your eyesight, and you need to wear a glasses, and I'm already wearing a glasses, and you're asking me that you're having a challenge seeing the words on the board, you're having challenges when driving. So can I just take off my glasses and give it to you to wear it on? Well, there is a tiny probability that we have the same eyesight, so this eyeglasses may fit you, but there's also a very big probability that my eyeglasses will never fit you, because you have your own measures, you have your own customized situation. Maybe I think that I have passed through a similar situation as the one you are mentioning, or the one you are complaining about. But maybe if we dig deeper, we may find that the situations are different, or even if they are the similar situation, exactly similar, we are not similar human beings. I have my way of dealing with things, and you also have your way with dealing with things. So my behavior, my answer, the way I behaved, the way I managed a particular situation is not necessarily at all the best solution for you. And here comes the concept of coaching. Again, for those who attended the previous session, coaching is never ever about telling a person what to do and what not to do. And if you go to a person who calls himself or herself a coach, and this person started to interrupt you or started to telling you, okay, follow my words or follow what I'm going to tell you, I'm going to tell you, you have to do 1, 2, 3, and everything's going to be all right, then this person is not a coach. It's not easy. It's not easy because a coach does not provide an easy solution. A coach does not provide an easy solution, and a coach does not even provide a solution. Okay, so what's the job of a coach? The job of a coach, I believe, is much more difficult than a mentor or a consultant or a teacher. The job of a coach is to dig deeper inside you and to lighten dark areas in your mind to make you see clearer, to make you think better, to make you think about different alternatives that you haven't thought about before. This is the job of the coach. And by the end of the day, when you reach a solution, you are the one who will come up with the solution. His only role is he will be directing you through questions and giving you the freedom to speak, talk, and answer. And through these questions that he is throwing at you, he is trying to make you think better, make you think about alternatives that you haven't thought about before, make you think in a different way, in a different style. This is the job of a coach. Okay, I tell you something, I didn't know actually the actual meaning of it until soon. Actually, what made me study coaching, I took a degree in coaching, is that I was being coached by one of the coaches whom I owe her a lot. She was a very good, effective coach, and she helped me actually personally and professionally as well. I remember at the end of each session when I used to go to her at the end of each session, she always used to tell I always used to tell her thank you very much, and she always used to reply, not at all. It was you, not me. I didn't used to understand this word. Okay, I thought maybe she is complimenting me. Maybe she doesn't. She's very humble. She doesn't want to say that she has done a great job. But when I studied coaching and when I started to understand the concept of coaching, I started to understand this statement. It's not her who came up with the answer. It's not her who came up with the solution, and it's not her who came up with an action plan that I will be committed to implement in the coming period. All what she did was to pull these out of me. This is what she did. Okay, but at the end of the day, the ideas are mine from inside. Okay, so this is about coaching. We'll be explaining and defining further. So our seventh question here. Sorry. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Active listen is about active listening. But let me see. Okay. I think I missed one of the questions. Sorry. Okay. Okay. So maybe, yeah, I forgot. I think one of the questions, I think I put it at the end. So let's have this question first. Active listening, questioning, and providing the expert solution at the end is an example of mentoring, coaching, consulting, teaching, A, C, and D. Okay, great. Yes, A, C, and D. Exactly. If anything that entails providing expert solution, okay, this means that this is not coaching. Okay, so coaching has nothing to do with providing a solution, a ready-made solution, ready-made expert solution. Okay, so here's another question. Asking questions, probing, paraphrasing, active listening without enforcing a particular solution is an example of mentoring, consulting, coaching, teaching, or E, A, B, and C. Yes, coaching. Okay. Well, actually, it has all the main elements of coaching. So probing mean like follow-up questions, paraphrasing, repeating the words from from the coachee. You repeat the words in your own words. Repeat what he is saying, your own words. Active listening without enforcing a particular solution. This is actually a definition of coaching. Okay. So here are the definitions of coaching by the International Coaching Federation. So let's try to read them together. Coaching is a way to support the development of an individual in such a way that their performance, effectiveness, and sense of joy increases. Coaching does this by exploring with the coachee both their current reality, how it got to be that way, and how they can create different results in the future. Coaching is facilitating positive change by improving thinking. Coaching skills are skills which aim at helping the coachee find their own solutions rather than teaching or telling them what to do. And I will add also another definition by the ICF, by the International Coaching Federation, which is coaching is a thought-provoking practice. You mean thought? What do you know what we mean by thought-provoking practice? Well, we mean here by provoking, we mean provoking in a positive way. It's not like intimidating, okay? But it's kind of intimidating in a positive way. So it's a thought-provoking practice. You throw questions at the coach throw questions at the coachee that provoke his or her thinking, okay? Make him explore his own minds, explore his own ideas, explore what's going inside here and here, the mind and the heart as well. Okay, so these are the definitions of coaching by the International Coaching Federation. Here is question 9. Coaching is used as an empowerment tool to enforce positive performance or attitude, B, adjust negative behavior, C, achieve personal organizational objectives, D, provide a sense of direction, E, all of the above, F, A, B, and C. This is a bit tricky question. Yes, exactly. It's E. And I know why there are a lot of people who choose F. Okay, because when they just meant when they read D, provide a sense of direction, they thought that the coach is directing the coachee. But providing a sense of direction is one of the tools that the coach implements with the coachee. He is not the one, the coach is not the one who is providing the sense of direction, but one of the roles of the coach is to help the coachee have a sense of direction through questions. So does the coach provide a sense of direction for the coachee? Yes, he does, through questions. There is a difference between providing a sense of direction and directing. Okay, providing a sense of direction, yes, I can help you, I can provide you a sense of direction without telling you what to do and what not to do, just by questions. Coaching is not easy. It's a very difficult practice. That's why we kept studying it for more than 1 year, and I will tell you why. As human beings, we tend to provide advice. We tend to talk more than we listen. So that's why it's very easy for each and every one of us just to jump to conclusions, to provide advice. What's really difficult is to keep calm, be patient, listen until the end, and know how and when to to ask the right question after the coachee has already finished everything he's saying. I remember my master coach used to give me a very hard time because I always have a burning desire. I just want to tell my coachee, yes, come on, you have to do so and so, you have to go and fix this way. But actually it needs a lot of practice and a lot of patience. So by time and practice, you acquire this skill and you start to listen more than you talk. Okay? So a leader as a coach. So we're talking about coaching, and we're talking about coaching as one of the very important, essential leadership tool. Okay? So how can a leader use this tool? A leader as a coach can use this tool in many different ways. Okay? I can use as a leader this tool to enhance performance, to adjust negative attitude, adjust some mistakes at work. What's very important in this slide for you all to know is that we use coaching not just in one case, which is there is a crisis, there is a problem, and we need to reach a solution. No, this is a very big misconception about coaching. We can use coaching to enhance performance. We can use coaching to connect together. We can use coaching when we are having our best performance to make it even better. To improve, to increase our abilities, to know about, to get feedback, to know about what areas of improvement, what are the areas of strength. And remember, knowing the positives is very important and has the same importance or even more than like knowing the negatives. So sometimes we tend to provide a negative reinforcements, or we do coaching just in case there is a negative, something negative that we need to improve. This is misconception. If someone is good and he's having a good performance, then you have to coach this person to maintain this performance, to maintain this level of performance. Okay, so the leader coach use coaching to enhance performance, to engage, to retain employees, to build relationships, to develop roles, delegate, to empower people, to empower people to have new responsibilities and new tasks. So there are many areas where we can use coaching, unlike the common idea that we tend to use coaching just to fix something that is not appropriate or is not working fine. No, coaching is used to enforce or to enhance positive performance as well. Okay, can you see the quote at the very end of this page? Yes. Give a man a fish and you feed him for a day, teach him how to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. I think all of us know this quote very well. You know what's special about this quote? What's really special about this quote is that it's the definition of coaching. This is exactly what coaching is trying to do. Coaching is trying to make you independent, to make you think better, to make you reach a difficult solution, because a difficult solution is engraved, okay, here, okay. So whenever you do a lot of effort, whenever you exert serious effort, mental effort, thinking about solutions, and then when you reach the solution, this solution will be permanent because you have done a lot of effort to reach the solution. But believe me, easy solutions you get used to. It makes you very dependent and you'll get used to. So whenever you need an easy solution, you go to this manager, what should I do? You do 1, 2, 3, and then you go. You will never benefit anything from this. So the school of coaching is the school of providing a difficult solution, okay? Reaching a difficult solution. Benefits of coaching approach: improved sense of direction and focus, increased knowledge of self and self-awareness, knowledge of self and self-awareness as well. When the coach ask you questions and make you think different about different aspects of your life and different actions that you have taken and different decisions you have taken in your lives, think about them differently. So this increases your self-awareness. Improved ability to relate and influence others, increased motivation, improved performance effectiveness, focused effort. So whenever there is, we need to enhance, to increase, to make performance better, we need to coach this person to get the maximum out of him or her. Increased resourcefulness, resilience, ability to handle change, and increased confidence as well. Okay. So sometimes I used to go to my coach without having a clear challenge or a clear problem in hand. I just want to go to her for what you can say, for maintenance, to make sure that I'm fine, I'm in control. Is there anything that I'm not really realizing? Everything is going on. Am I in control of everything? Am I on the right track? So it's not necessarily that you're having a crisis or a problem. Okay. Here you will find on the left-hand side the role of the coach. The person who is being coached is called the coachee. A coach encourages self-discovery, asks questions to create insight inside the mind of the coachee, clarifies, holds coachee accountable. This is very important point. A coaching session ends with a call for action. Who is the one calling for action? It's you. The coachee is calling for action. But the coach never ends a coaching session except by, okay, we have talked about 1, 2, 3. Now we have discussed these issues. And you mentioned that you will be doing 1, 2, 3, right? When are you going to do this? Do you have a time schedule? When are you going to implement it? Do you have the tools of implementing these? Do you know how to implement them? Are there any other people who are going to help you implementing these decisions that you just mentioned? So all these are questions, so we can come up from a coaching session or a coaching meeting with a call for action to be implemented by the coachee. And the first thing, if these people are going to meet again in the next session, the coach should be asking the coachee about the action plan, what he has done, the progress, how he progressed through his action plan. The coachee on the right-hand side is an expert in own life. Yes, exactly. This is what the coach believes in the coachee. He is the expert in his own life. He knows his life, he knows his personal life, and he knows his professional life much more than me. I am not the subject matter expert. So I will help this expert to discover further, because he knows very well, but maybe he is not thinking in the right direction. I will help the coachee to think in the right direction, to come up with solutions. The coachee is resourceful and creative. This is what the coach should believe. And the questions that the coach raises enhances resourcefulness and creativity, and give the coachee a chance to improvise, to think, okay, and be creative and think of untraditional alternatives, untraditional options that he hasn't thought about before, generate solutions and strategy, and is committed. Yes, finally, the coachee is committed to what he mentioned he is going to do. So he is committed to what he already, the decisions that he just came up with. Okay. Next. So this question actually is not a multiple choice question. You can write your answers in the chat box. I just want to brainstorm with you. You can write 1 skill, 2 skills, 3 skills, whatever you feel suitable. What are the key skills, if you want to summarize? What do you think are the key skills for effective coaching? I will open the chat box to read your answers. Trust between coaching and coachee. Yes, absolutely. It's very important. If there is no trust, they will never go for a coaching session. The coachee will never accept to be coached by this person. And if the coach does not trust the coachee, will never go for the session. How right in books? Okay, well focused. Okay, let me. Well focused, emphasized, questioning. Yes, ability to listen and to improvise, an uncommon way to solve tough problems, and lasting ways to improve. Yes, absolutely. Lead by example. Okay, yeah, I want to explain further this part about leading by example. I will explain it now. Improved performance, be patient, listening, emphasizing, intuiting. Coach must cultivate empathetic qualities. Yeah, I like the word empathetic. Okay. Can you explain more? How can cultivate empathetic quality? Okay. Encouraging, motivating, good listener. Okay. Coach, okay. Yes, we have read them all. Any more answers? Dig in deep. Yeah, I love the expression. Yes. Coaches always dig deeper. Dig in deep sides and try shed lights. Yeah, shed lights on black sides. Yes, absolutely. Trust, listening, motivated, communication, positivity, guidance, giving feedback. Absolutely. Okay, great answers. Thank you very much for all you have mentioned. You have mentioned great skills. Yes, they are all important. And most importantly, one of the most important skill, if not found in a coach, then he can never be a coach, or he has to learn it in a hard way, which is listening. The coach, what is the coach most powerful tool? The coach most powerful tool is questioning. Okay? So the coach's role is to throw questions. The coach will never ever be able to throw the right questions unless he is a very good listener. So we have practiced this a lot. It needs a lot of practice. So whenever we are meeting with a client or a colleague or doing a coaching session, listening carefully without any interruption until the coachee finishes the whole everything he or she want to say is our only tool to be able to understand and then start to throw questions. We will never be able to ask the right question if we are not good listeners. So we have to listen very well. Okay? So we'll talk about listening, because listening, as I just mentioned, listening is very important. But before we talk about listening, I just want you also to brainstorm. We can brainstorm together. What is the difference between attentive and active listening? What is the difference between attentive and active listening? What do you think are the differences? Active to group at the same time? Mm, not really. Try again. What do you think? What do you think is the difference between attentive and active listening? Attentive, to give all attention and feeling to one person. Mm, not really. Mm. Any further answers? In active listening, the listener carefully pays attention to the words of the speaker and responds accordingly. In the case of passive listening, the listener only hears the speaker's statement but does not respond to it. Okay, yes, good. So, but what's the difference between attentive and active? Attentive, like caring, but listen. Okay, attentive, like caring, but listening. He knows when listen and when talk and when he should talk. Not really. Active listening is more like listening without paying attention to the speaker. No, not really. Active listening means listen carefully and make following questions. Okay, yes, but attentive. Okay, we'll tell you. But yes, this is very close, Gloria. Very good. Okay. So, yes, an attentive listener, an attentive listener is someone who listens very well. Okay, there is also another final answer here. Active listening, the listener carefully pays attention to the words of the speaker and responds accordingly. On the other hand, in the case of passive listening, the listener only hears the speaker's statement but does not respond to it. Okay, active listening is more common than attentive. Okay, so let's see the difference. An attentive listener is someone who listens very well. Okay, very well. But I can come and tell you, you know what? Yesterday, I had a horrible accident in the street at almost 12 noon. Okay. So what are we going to eat for lunch? You know what I mean? An attentive listener is someone who already has listened, but he is not interacting. He does not show any expression or any emotion or any sort of verbal or non-verbal interaction with the speaker. Okay, so this is an attentive. Why he's attentive? He's concentrating actually, and he's listening every single word you're saying. But you don't feel there's any verbal or non-verbal clue that this person is involved. Okay, so let's try it again, the same example. You know what happened yesterday? I had this horrible accident. It was almost 12 noon. Oh, really? And how are you doing now? Are you okay? Have you been to the hospital? You're fine now? Why didn't you call me? You see the difference? In the second one, I was interacting. I was not just listening, because active listening is a big step higher than attentive. Active listening includes verbal and non-verbal interaction with the speaker, either by body language, like something like this, okay, nodding, okay, raising your eyebrows, asking questions, probing, rephrasing. This is active listening. You're not just attentive, you're not just listening what's going inside. You are doing effort as a receiver, as a listener. You are doing effort to show the speaker that you emotionally, you empathetically, and I will use this word that you mentioned in the answers, you empathetically listen to what him or her are saying. Active listening is listening with empathy. Active listening or empathetic listening means that you put yourself in someone else's shoes. Someone is talking to you about a very major, important event in his or her life, okay? If you're not on the same wavelength, if you're not interacting, if you're not engaging, this will give a message to the other person, to the speaker, to the sender, that although you're hearing everything he's saying, but you're not actually involved, you're not engaged, you're not even caring. I'm talking to you about something very important in my life, and you're not just telling me anything. So interacting, showing emotions, raising questions, rephrasing, probing, paraphrasing, all these are important tools that ensure active listening. And there is a very, very, very important tip. An active listener is not an interrupter. There is a major difference between someone who is actively listening and someone who is interrupting. Because I'm saying this because some people may take my words as if like active listening, so I will keep interrupting this person just to know that I am totally with no, this is not right. Active listening is that you are giving a message to this person, that you are concerned about what he's saying, that you're understanding the meaning, and you want to understand the meaning of what he or she are saying. Okay, so this is the difference between attentive and active listening. Okay. Before going through the different skills, you mentioned a lot of skills about coaching. I just want to take one of your answers. Someone mentioned about leading by example. Well, as a coach, you are not leading. The coachee is the one who is leading. You are not the one who is leading. Okay? So you will absorb what the coachee want to say, and you will understand and listen well to understand, and then come up with questions according to the information that he or she provided. So in a coaching process, the coachee is the one who is leading, not the coach. In mentoring, the mentor is the leader. In teaching, the teacher is the leader, as well as in consulting. But in coaching, the coachee is the leader, is the source of information. He is given the full floor. It's his place. It's his session. Say whatever you want. And after saying everything, I'm, as a coach, absorb all this and start to tailor questions according to what the coachee has said. But we can use something, there is a very important tool that a coach can use. For example, if I'm going to the coach, I want to be coached because I'm having a particular communication problem with one of my colleagues at work. Smartly, the coach will never tell me what to do and what not to do. But a coach can tell me something, if he or she experienced a similar experience in life before, the coach may tell me, you know what? I have a friend, or I faced a similar situation once, and I did so and so, without telling the coachee, so you have to do exactly as I did. No. I know one of my friends who faced almost exactly this situation, and he did so and so. What do you think? Okay. Well, I think, yes, this is a good solution. I may try it. Or, no, I don't think this solution may suit me. This might be the answer of the coachee. So you let the coachee, the one who decides whether to take with this advice or not, or whether to do exactly as your friend or not. Okay, so this is leading by example. So coaching skills are attentive listening, active listening, not delivering solutions. And this is actually we have talked about and we have stressed so many times, being a mirror, rephrasing, looking for hidden messages, understanding exactly, and looking for hidden messages will never be done except by very good active listening, not judging. Okay, this is very important. If someone is telling you, you are the coach, and someone is telling you something that is not in your ethical code, this does not mean that this person is bad and he deserves whatever problem he is facing. Okay, because each and every one of us have their own life, culture, ethical code. So a must for a coach is not to be judging. Okay, being neutral, result oriented, structured, asking powerful questions, target oriented questions, patience, and finally empathy. Okay, and here are the different levels of listening. So we are putting a lot of emphasis on listening because listening is as we just mentioned, the major tool for coaching. So there are different levels of listening, starting by interrupting. The last thing a coach can do with a coachee is to interrupt. Interruption is prohibited. Hijacking. Hijacking, what does hijacking mean? When I come and tell you, I went yesterday into the mall and I went to that shop where I had kind of a fight with that guy. He doesn't want to exchange that shirt. Oh, okay. Yeah, I understand. You know what? I had this exactly same situation before. Okay. You haven't listened to me until the end. You just hijacked my ideas and you assumed that I'm going to tell you exactly the same story that you have in mind or the same experience that you witnessed before. So this is hijacking. Advising is something good. something positive, but whenever it is requested. So I cannot go for someone for coaching and I find this person advising, then this person is not a coach. So advising from people who we love, people we admire, people we trust, advising is definitely acceptable. Then we explored the difference between attentive listening and active listening as well. Okay, I will stop here today. Okay, so next time we will finalize this last part. We will finalize and summarize coaching, and then we start our new topic about emotional intelligence. Hope you enjoyed this session. Hope that I was not talking a lot. I was not boring, and hope you enjoyed it. And your questions are most welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you for this insightful lecture.
Thank you.
I hope that you all enjoyed this lecture as you are the leaders of the future. I have one question for you before ending the
Sure,
session.
sure.
Do you think people are born to be leaders, or can leadership skills be learned?
Okay, thank you. So the one who asked this question obviously did not attend the last lecture. Okay, but the good news is leadership can definitely be learned. Okay, there are people who are born leaders. Okay, there are very few leadership traits that are that are present by birth. For example, the as I mentioned last time, the charisma. Okay, you cannot learn how to be charismatic. It's a gift, you know. Either you have it or not. But the good news is if you are not naturally born a leader, you still have a wide range of skills that you can learn to be a magnificent leader. Okay, so if you're not leader by birth, you can learn to be a leader. Yes, and leaders are not necessarily legends, they're just normal people. Okay, any more questions?
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Elshoura, for your time. And this lecture has been recorded. It will be uploaded soon on Arab Gore's YouTube channel. So that's all for today. With that, I want to wish you the best of luck and have a nice rest of the day.
Thank you very much, Mariam. Thank you, Dr. Ahmed, very much. And it was really a great pleasure to be here. Thank you all, and hopefully see you next week, next Tuesday. Thank you.